This is Democracy Watch. So, Mark, we have big news out of Alabama as far as fair maps are concerned. Can you explain what just happened in court?
Yeah, in a sweeping 222-page opinion, the federal court in Alabama told the state of Alabama, your map sucks, and it's going to be replaced, and it's going to get redrawn by a special master hired by the federal court. So all of the drama that we saw with the state of Alabama ignoring a federal court order, ignoring the Supreme Court, all of that's going to get wiped away. And there's going to be a special master who draws a new map for Alabama in time for 2024.
Is there any foul play that could occur with a court-assigned special master? I mean, we've seen foul play occur throughout this entire process as long as Republicans have had a hand in it. Could that happen with a court-assigned special master?
No, I don't think that's a possibility. I mean, this court is angry at what Alabama did. They pointed out over and over again in their opinion that the state of Alabama was given an order. It didn't follow it. And think about it, Brian, it's not that hard for a special master to comply with this order. It wasn't that hard for the state of Alabama to comply with this order. They have to draw two districts that are above 50% Black voting age population. This is not a complicated task, and it's not a vague task, right? 50% means 50%.
Right, as opposed to 50% meaning 39%, but I guess math is hard. Mark, Alabama's Secretary of State has already appealed this decision to the U.S. Supreme Court. Wasn't it the Supreme Court itself that ruled in Milligan that Alabama's maps violated Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act? Like, what would an appeal to the Supreme Court actually accomplish here?
They are hoping that it will accomplish delay, delay, delay. Why did George Wallace stand at the schoolhouse doors? Because he was trying to block progress. He was trying to block civil rights. Why is Alabama appealing to the Supreme Court, having just lost in the Supreme Court? Because it is trying to block the inevitability of two majority-minority districts in Congress in Alabama.
Is there any reason to believe that we wouldn't have these two districts drawn in time for the 2024 election?
No, this court is moving. They know what Alabama's up to. They are moving quickly. Like I said, their opinion was sweeping. It was excoriating of what Alabama did. And I fully expect that we will get a new map in time for 2024.
Now, was there anything unusual about the judge's response to these Alabama Republicans, and their outright refusal to comply with that court's order to create a Black Opportunity District?
Yeah, it was actually a very unusual opinion. As I mentioned, it was over 200 pages, which is a long opinion in any case, but it's a particularly long opinion for a case where really all the court had to do was say, we're appointing a special master, right? All they had to say was that 39% is not greater than 50%, and therefore we're appointing a special master. Instead, they painstakingly went through all of the evidence. They painstakingly went through every argument that the state of Alabama made, and they rejected it. But here is what's really telling. The court said, after the Supreme Court sent this back to them, that they gave the legislature another chance in good faith, believing that the legislature would take that opportunity and act in good faith. And instead, the court said that Alabama did not even nurture the ambition to provide the required remedy. In other words, the Alabama didn't even try to do what the court ordered them to. And this is the key quote. They said, "We are not aware of any other case in which a state legislature faced with a federal court order declaring that its electoral plan unlawfully dilutes minority votes and requires a plan that provides an additional opportunity district responded with a plan that the state concedes does not provide that district." In other words, they said, we can't even find another instance where a state comes in and says, we're not even going to try to do the thing that the court has ordered us to do.
And what do you think the purpose was for these Alabama Republicans? Like, what if you're basically ordered to do something that is an inevitability, then what's the point of just, aside from just delaying? I mean, this thing is going to happen anyway, and it's not like you're going to delay this thing until after the 2024 election. So what is the point of these antics by these Alabama Republicans?
So look, we've been talking about this back and forth for weeks now, and I said at the very beginning, this is largely performative. In the era of Donald Trump's Republican Party, there is a benefit to be found, if you're a Republican, in defying court orders. There is a sort of an honor within the Republican Party to be seen for ignoring and flouting the law. I mean, after all, Donald Trump gets indicted and he gets celebrated.
Right.
So a lot of this was performative. Republicans thought politically they were better off defying a court order, that would raise their estimate, the way the voters in their base viewed them, rather than complying with it. So I think that's what's gone on here.
Okay. Now, I covered this in a recent video, but can you speak on the update in Florida's 5th congressional district?
Yeah, big news there also over the weekend. You know, over Labor Day weekend, we got a huge win in Florida where the state court held that the map that Ron DeSantis insisted that the Republican legislature enact, that map violates the state constitution. You may remember the state of Florida has in its state constitution so-called fair district amendments, which also put in place kind of simple math. It says you cannot diminish the ability of minorities to elect candidates of choice. So what did the legislature in Florida do? It passed a map that didn't diminish the ability of Black voters to elect candidates of choice, and Ron DeSantis vetoed it and said, no, you have to pass a map that diminishes Black voters' ability to elect the candidate's choice, most specifically the 5th congressional district. That got litigated. My law firm brought a lawsuit, and the trial court judge there, who was appointed by Rick Scott, struck that down as violating the state constitution. That case also now, like Alabama, they are appealing that case to this in this instance to the state Supreme Court in Florida.
And just one more question on this Florida situation. Is that court case just focused on Florida's 5th congressional district, or because that map violated Florida's state constitution, does that mean the whole map is kind of unconstitutional and it could be an opportunity to have other districts as opposed to just Florida's 5th congressional district redrawn?
Yeah, so this case is right now just focused on that 5th congressional district and the question of whether or not it diminished Black voters' ability to elect a candidate of choice. There are other lawsuits and other opportunities to challenge that map on other grounds.
Okay. Now, where in the U.S. are maps currently being challenged? I know that we have, we've done a ton of these videos focusing on different states, but let's put them all together here.
Let's do it. Ready? Let's start with Alabama. Alabama, we just talked about. There's a lawsuit that has gone to the Supreme Court. Alabama is going to gain an additional Black majority district, and we talked about that earlier now. We've talked about Florida. Georgia trial just started. That'll take a week or a little more than a week. A similar theory to what the victory was in Alabama. So I expect we will see an additional at the end of that trial, an order for an additional African-American district in the Atlanta region. Louisiana already been ordered to create an additional Black majority district. Louisiana is sort of traveling the same road as Alabama, not doing what they're supposed to do, but I expect in the end that will be in place for 2024. Texas, that's a big one. Lots of districts at stake, could be as few as 3, as many as 5 additional majority districts created there. New York, we have redistricting litigation going on about whether or not the bipartisan independent redistricting commission needs to put in place a fair map in time for 2024. The intermediate court says yes. We'll wait to see what the high court in New York does. And then Wisconsin, it's crazy what's going on in Wisconsin. Lawsuit filed in Wisconsin to undo the extreme partisan gerrymander in the state legislature. And before that case can even be heard, what's the Republican legislature doing? They're threatening to impeach the new justice, even before she's heard the case. So that's the roundup of what's going on. And there's one common theme here, which is that Republicans are trying to cheat and rig these maps. And they are slow walking when they get caught with their hands in the cookie jar. They are slow walking remedies. And in Wisconsin, they're trying to impeach a justice even before the proceeding takes place.
Now, real quick on the Wisconsin situation, let's say that this does get litigated all the way up to the Wisconsin Supreme Court, and Judge Janet Protasewicz is sitting on the court. If she has to recuse herself from any decision involving her, and the court is split otherwise, what actually happens?
We are in uncharted territory. We are in uncharted territory yet again because Republicans refuse to abide by the basic norms. I mean, look at what they're talking. We talk about impeachment in Wisconsin for something that just got there. Look at what they're doing in the House of Representatives. They're like, we're going to impeach Biden, but let's figure out now. We need to figure out what it is that maybe he could have possibly done. Right? They are breaking every norm. They are celebrating their indicted former failed one-term president. They are rigging maps. They are defying court orders. And so it's uncharted territory what would happen in Wisconsin.
All right. Well, we'll leave it there. Obviously, a ton to look forward to as we watch all of these lawsuits play out and see potential opportunities for as many as a dozen or more seats to flip because of these new districts as a result of violations of Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act. With that said, for anybody who wants to support Marc and his team, they were representing a number of the plaintiffs in these cases, so they definitely deserve our support. Please sign up for Democracy Docket. It's the free news outlet that Marc founded to focus on everything voting and elections. The link is right here on the screen. It's also in the post description of this video. I'm Brian Tyler Cohen.
I'm Marc Elias.
This is Democracy Watch.